My name is omaikkofi. I am a resident of Texas since I was born that I know of. But I'm a Texas resident. I reside in Dallas, Texas. And who I am is an in-depth question. But just on the surface, I would say that I'm an educator, someone who is consistent and serious about economics, business, as well as charity.
La doctora May nació en Texas desde que ella tiene memoria. Ella ha estado viviendo en Texas. Ella es una persona que educa a la gente, ya sea en economía, en negocios, en todo lo que sea beneficios para la sociedad del gobierno de Texas.
Dr. Gabriel Emilio is someone who I was able to meet about 3 years ago, maybe even more. I don't remember, but since then we've always connected, and we connected on a platform that was moreover for injustice as well as solutions. He's more of a solution-based person that I've met. He has been a mentor to me. He's been a guide to me. He has been someone who's done more than interpretation, but actually carried out several issues that deal with human trafficking, as well as ways to fix, or rather provide solutions on what we can do together in human trafficking, and someone who has always been involved with helping politicians such as Mark Veazey, people like myself and others who are trying to empower themselves from a more large-based standpoint to tackle large-based issues.
La doctora May me conoce desde como 3 años, hemos compartido muchas cosas. Lo principal es cómo detener el impacto del tráfico de los seres humanos y también tener una plataforma en la que todos podamos participar y podamos beneficiar a la sociedad. Ella siempre ha tenido las mismas creencias de lo que es bueno y lo que son injusticias, y ella y yo compartimos lo mismo, de por qué las injusticias no solo dañan a la sociedad donde son cometidas, sino a todas las personas que no hacemos nada al respecto.
A lot of people are interested in why I would want to run for governor of Texas, but I'd rather get your interest on how we are going to run for governor of Texas, because I'm not running, we are running. 39 governors have been female in the United States of America, and not one governor in the history of America has been an African American female. That means we, to me. And the reason why I'm running for governor and not maybe mayor or ombudsman or any other office is because I looked at the qualifications, I looked at the historical account of who can be governor, and the qualifications are basic. And I would love to have a basic campaign where we can talk about real issues and not a high-profile campaign where we have to address problems. I want to talk about issues because issues provide solutions, problems bring on more problems. When you look at the governor candidacy in the state of Texas, the one that I would reference myself close to running to, if at all possible, would not be Ann Richards, because she was a female and she also was a Democratic elect, but moreover Sam Houston, who was the only independent governor of Texas. That's interesting to me. I don't know why that is. I don't even want to get into why that is, but I am running independent as the governor of Texas. It's not that I disagree with Democrats or I disagree with the conservatives or the Republican Party. It is moreover because I want to get the people more engaged and more involved in politics. A lot of people may not know a lot of things about politics. I myself, as well as other politicians, continue to learn because things change. But running for the governor of Texas gives us the opportunity to run more than it gives us the opportunity to win. But when I look at the fact that the United States of America has never had a black female governor, I want to tackle that inside of the run, not outside and ask questions from the outside. I want to go inside and find out what that is about. 23 states have never had a female governor ever. I want to go inside of that and see what's going on the inside and not be knocking out the door asking questions on the outside.
La doctora May se va a postular para la gobernatura del estado de Texas porque dice que en 39 estados ha habido mujeres, pero nunca ha habido una mujer que sea afroamericana. y entonces ella no considera que ella está postulando hacia la gobernatura. Ella está convenciendo a todos de que todos nos estamos lanzando a la gobernatura, no solo ella. Ella, su estilo sería más o menos Sam Houston, o no tanto como Ann Richards, pero como Sam Houston, porque ella va a ser independiente. No que ella no esté de acuerdo con lo que dicen los demócratas o con lo que dicen un partido más conservador como los republicanos, pero ella se va a enfocar en soluciones, no nada más en problemas, sino traer soluciones y enfocarse más en cómo beneficiar a toda la sociedad, y no nada más como una mujer negra, sino como una mujer que representa a todos los que necesitan ayuda.
The fact that there haven't been many that have come before me, what I'm doing different now is running at all, and also running as an independent. The divide that we see in the public eye may not be everything that happens behind closed doors.
I think he's entertaining. I think I would vote for him over Hillary Clinton.
I think there's a lot of people who want someone who's a strong leader, and there's an appeal to that.
I don't believe in the Democrat Party versus the Republican Party or liberals versus conservatives. I believe moreover in one government. So the difference between what I am doing or imposing to our state here is that we are a republic. And in that republic, we are all involved. The involvement of one unity opposed to the division of another. So we're not utilizing the OR, which is the or. We are using the and we are combining forces with your views as a Democrat or a liberal, your views as a conservative or a Republican are all the views of the government as a whole.
This is not only happening in the United States, it's probably happening around the world. In many democracies there are going through changes. You know, it has, how do you say that, more controlled way of living or of life.
So we are coming from a whole perspective of we don't have to play sides anymore. We do not have to succumb to energies that may cause us to look like we're fighting. I don't believe that our government is fighting as much as the media would say. I do believe that our government has differences. And what I would like to do is come right there directly in the middle and share those differences from a solution-based point opposed to an argumentative point. And I just don't want people to think that I'm running independently to get away from Democrat or get away from the Republican side or conservative liberal side. It's moreover to show that our government is one and it is unified when we choose to be unified. And that's what this campaign is proving, the choice of unity.
Hay unas divisiones que en realidad nosotros no entendemos. Hay que ir muy profundamente para ver qué es un demócrata, qué es un republicano. La doctora May nos va a demostrar cómo unificarnos, cómo ser un solo partido y no nada más absorber lo que nos están diciendo los conservadores o absorber lo que nos están diciendo los liberales. Nosotros vamos a ser un partido unido y como una unificación vamos a poder siempre encontrar soluciones. Su plataforma va a estar basada en soluciones y cómo unir a todos, porque nosotros somos una república aquí en Texas, pero no estamos proyectándonos como tal república porque siempre hemos sido divididos, los demócratas o los republicanos, y no es que vamos a estar peleando uno con otro, sino que juntos vamos a formar el estado de Texas y juntos vamos siempre a encontrar soluciones.
Well, the first thing that I would like to state that brings unity is that I'm not the status quo already. So already I reek of not being the typical what you see in politics. That's already going to bring forth unity. Unity also is going to bring forth the question of how. And so in order to do that, we do network with people outside of people who look like us. We network with people outside of what America was opposed to what America is today. And America is a melting pot of diversity. It is also a platform for diversity. Our government shows diversity in certain aspects. what we get to do at this point is show diversity from all aspects. So the one thing that we can focus on to bring unity is diversity. So that word may mean different things to different people, but when I'm saying it, what I mean is diversify the entire platform. Only 1% of African American are represented in executive office. Only 26 states or so have allowed females as a whole into the governmental office as far as governor goes. If you look at our Congress or you look at our Senate and you look at the differences and the divides, they don't look so different. When I walk into Dallas City Hall and I look at the pictures of who was here and who made a name for themselves here, all the pictures look exactly alike. So already we're bringing forth difference. That's what I mean by diversity. Those differences together can bring forth different viewpoints that Dr. Gabriel may have, or Dr. Omai may have, or another person may have, and we be able to work on those differences together as a unified party. So when I'm talking about diversity, I'm talking about celebrating differences so that other cultures have a voice in today's government, because other cultures make up today's citizens. And so when we talk about how we're going to do it, the first thing we're going to do is look at diversity from a today standpoint, not historical, not cultural, but right today, what is going on today in our diversity platform of today.
Solo ha habido 26 estados que han aceptado unas mujeres como gobernadoras. Muchas personas dicen que han unificado a los gobiernos, han unificado el país, pero eso no ha sido el caso. Si uno va a donde están todas las fotografías de los alcaldes, de las personas que son encargadas del gobierno, van a ver que son las mismas fotografías, no hay diferencias. Entonces la doctora Mai va a demostrar que utilizando a todos los talentos de diferentes razas y todos los podemos unir para que todos contribuyan, no solo para que contribuyan con sus talentos, pero que al mismo tiempo sean representados, porque no son representados como deben. Entonces, como todos siempre están diciendo vamos a unir, eso no ha sido el caso. Y la doctora Mai, ella va a demostrar que sí se puede hacer y ella lo va a usar utilizando los talentos para que todos contribuyamos al desarrollo de la sociedad y al mismo tiempo seamos representados, que es sumamente importante.
Well, we can't speak about black on black crime without speaking about economic injustice. There's no possible way. We can go into so many tests, we can go into so many experiments, we can go into biology if you'd like, but let's bring a straight point. If you starve a man to death and that man has to feed his family, how is he supposed to feed his family? He will then in turn on his own family to make sure that he takes care of himself. Self-preservation is a huge issue, and when you put certain people in a line of duty where they don't have the opportunity to self-preserve, they themselves will turn on themselves. So there's no way to tackle any color on color crime, no matter what race on race crime it is, without tackling why they're doing it. And a lot of times in black communities that are where there's high black on black crime, there is also high economic injustice, where you see the way that they're able to cash their check is at a convenience store, not at a bank. That already reeks volumes of injustice. Also, however the system is set up, when you look on every corner and there's a church that is able to get tax deductible donations, and those churches are not filtrating back into those communities, there will be high crime. If you look at the educational system to where those students are, they don't even have a sidewalk. I am doors away from Ann Richards Middle School, and the projects are behind our subdivision. These children have to walk through our field every day because they don't have a sidewalk, and what monsters would we look like to tell them that they've got to walk on the street? So we allow them to walk through the community to be able to walk to school. These are issues that people may not be looking at as high crime or black on black crime. But when you talk about economic injustice or imbalance rather, then you're going to have a high crime area. So when we talk on black crime, we also have to talk about economic empowerment. And I'm not talking about from a standpoint of people discussing economic empowerment. I'm talking about programs as well as actual operations that cause higher economic IQ as well as higher economic standpoints that are tangible. And so black on black crime is not our concern as much as we are talking about economic injustice.
Las injusticias de la economía son el problema principal. No es tanto que sean negros contra negros, sino que las personas no han tenido oportunidades para desarrollarse, para poder tener una educación. Entonces, como siempre hay esta falta de equilibrio entre las comunidades, entonces siempre va a haber lo que se llama self-preservation en inglés, que viene siendo cómo conservarse a sí mismo. Si una persona tiene que darle de comer a sus hijos, esa persona va a tener que tomar acciones drásticas que puedan ser consideradas como crímenes. Entonces de ahí va a surgir el crimen, pero no necesariamente que vaya a ser de un negro contra otro negro, sino el crimen para poder comer, para poder alimentar a sus familias. Hay muchas injusticias, por ejemplo, los niños que quieren ir a la escuela ni siquiera tienen una banqueta por la que pueden caminar, tienen que caminar en un camellón donde hay pasto y todo para poder llegar a la escuela. No les podemos ni siquiera proveer lo necesario para llegar a la escuela con algo de dignidad. Y entonces, mientras no haya este equilibrio económico, mientras ellos no tengan las oportunidades de desarrollarse, estas personas van a continuar a recurrir al crimen, no tanto para hacer una maldad, simplemente para poder sobrevivir.
We were just talking about immigration that is hurting the system when someone comes to a country and doesn't have any input or value to add to the country. When we think about human trafficking today as it stands, just here in the city of Dallas, Texas during the Super Bowl, so many human trafficking situations occurred that could account for years of pain, years of craziness. Speaking to the women that I've been able to speak to that have been on a date, 1 minute, married the next minute, and then their husband happened to not be who they said that they were, and they were put into a human sex trafficking ring for years and years and years, and then were able to escape out. Their stories are tremendous, and there's too many of them. When I met Dr. Emilio and he began to explain to me the solutions for human trafficking, although they weren't pretty, it's not going to be easy because so many different hands are involved in human trafficking. It behooves me not to address such an issue. When we talk about slavery of a human life, it really behooves me that so many people have discredited all hands involved. And when you do not speak up for injustice, you are involved. So when I met Dr. Emilio and he began to explain to me, not from a standpoint of just pain, he began to explain to me human trafficking from a standpoint of resolve. I even got more amplified to help out. So I definitely want you to discuss, human trafficking, how it affects us economically, spiritually, mentally, how it affects us in our country as well as in other countries that you've been able to go to.
I would like to elaborate on what Dr. May said. I'm going to please first start with the Spanish translation. Ella estaba hablando de que el tráfico humano es muy persistente y que en el Super Bowl, cuando estuvo aquí en Dallas, hubo casos de personas que llegan, se casan, no saben ni con quién se casan, y de ahí entran en unas relaciones en las que después son vendidas a la esclavitud sexual y duran muchos años. Algunos de ellos pueden escapar, algunos de ellos no escapan. Ahora voy a hablar. Now I want to elaborate on what Dr. Mai said. I had an opportunity of doing I participated in intelligence gathering to facilitate the extraction of many slaves back from 1986 to 1991. And let me tell you this, many of you think that rape and forced sex was only the issue, but no, that's not the case. Imagine being a slave, that you have a tooth that's hurting, that you have no way to go, that you have been confined in a room of 3 by 3, that you have no running water, that all you have is a bucket, which you have brushed your teeth, cleaned yourself after being raped, and you don't get to see the sunlight. This goes on for weeks at a time. You are penetrated up to 40 times a day, and you have to allow the persons who are actually raping you to live out all their sexual fantasies. Should you refuse to do so, you are going to be hurt beyond any comprehension. Many of us don't have any idea the amount of pain that these girls are going to be experiencing. And not that because they just cannot bear with the pain. That's just one thing. Think about being experimented on. Back in the 80s, when AIDS was becoming a worldwide issue, some of those girls were infected with the virus so they can test vaccines. Some of them were just experimented with to try to see how much the human body could take, how much pain. Their skulls would be crushed to see what would pop out first, their eyeballs or the jaw would bust. It's amazing all the harm that these girls were subjected to. Why? Just to satisfy some sexual fantasies. We say, okay, that's not taking place in the United States. Unfortunately, without offending anybody, the best customers are people from the United States, from England, and from Australia. Those are the ones that actually promote this. Those are the ones with the purchasing power to travel to all these other parts of the world and pay. In 1986, 1987, everybody who had a dormant instinct of pedophilia actually brought it to life when they went overseas. Okay, so the problem was there? No. When they came back, they brought it back with them. So now they have actually manifested this, so they represent a threat to every human being around them. That is contagious. And the worst thing about it, their condition is progressive. Maybe at the beginning, all they wanted to see was watch porno, maybe just penetration. They maybe just another type of penetration, maybe 2 or 3 girls at a time, then whip them, then chain them, then after that having sex with animals, then beat them close to death. I mean, there is no stop to whatever their impulses, their dormant impulses were. As they bring them to life, they get worse and worse and worse. And the saddest thing is that some of our politicians know that the problem exists. They have actually compiled figures. They say that the slavery program, when it was allowed, the amount of slaves when it was allowed was probably 4 or 5 million. Now that it's against the law, we have up to 30 million slaves. We have countries like China where they make their girls 12, 13 years old work 14, 15 hours a day, and in seasons they have to work 24 hours a day. They go back home, what they call home. They have to share a small bed with 3 other girls. Some of them may be lucky and some of them may not be raped, but some of them, after having worked 14, 15, 16 hours a week, they are going to be raped and beaten, not just raped. And some of them are already pregnant, and that's part of some of the sexual fantasies of these pedophiles, that they want to see a girl, a 12, 13-year-old pregnant, and they're gonna have sex with them. There is no limit to their sexual explorations. I had a case where they had become cannibals. They were actually peeling off parts of the skin from one another for sexual stimulation. That is beyond reality. We cannot, as a society, we cannot, as the government of the United States, allow this to continue, because as Edmund Burke once said, in order for evil to triumph, good needs to do nothing. If we don't do nothing, evil will continue to proliferate, and every time it's going to reach more and more people, and it's going to come to the United States. It's already in Mexico, it's already in many countries in Central America, it's proliferating in Brazil, and of course in Southeast Asia, where we have Laos, Vietnam, the Philippines, Cambodia, Thailand, where it's called the City of Angels. They commit so many different atrocities over there, and we have the means of stopping this. Not fully, that would be an unrealistic goal, but every life that we save, it's a life that is worth saving. We can make a difference through awareness. Anything that we do, just being aware that it exists, writing letters to our congressman, stop any type of financial aid to a country that allows slavery. The difficult part was not the extraction from the places that they were subjected to slavery. The difficult part was to take them from point A to point B, because the army and the police were heavily involved. That's the saddest thing. I mean, these girls might have escaped. They could see freedom for just a fraction of a second, and they would be snatched by the police or by the army and taken back and beaten. Now, some of the girls didn't do anything. They all complied with the sexual fantasies of their Johns. And what happened? Some of them were beaten and tortured just as an example to intimidate other girls. See, this is what's going to happen to you if you don't comply. It's brutal. It's beyond beyond words. I cannot describe how brutal it is. And we can make a difference by writing letters, by becoming aware, by telling our country, send CIA agents and stop that from happening. I mean, we sometimes go to countries because the price of coffee may go up. That's going to have a negative impact in the economy of the United States. But this has worse impact than anything, because as a society, we are devolving. We are regressing. We cannot consider ourselves human beings if we allow other human beings, little girls, 12, 13, 14, to be brutalized. We have to take action. We have to do something about this.
And Dr. Emilio also, and this is how you utilize a platform that you have. When you talk about awareness, when you talk about what can I do, how can I get involved, I don't know the names of the people. You don't need to know the names of the people. What you need to know is that it is happening rapidly, and it is growing, and it is going to come into your front door if you don't stop it. Anytime you see a problem of, when you talk about pests, and there is a infestation,
Exactly.
The infestation only gets worse if it's not attended to. So when you hear that Americans are involved in any kind of way, then as an American, your antenna should stand up to say, hold on, I don't want to be that American. If that alone can start the process of you getting involved, please do so. If you have a platform to speak out against human trafficking, please do so. If you have a heart to get involved, there are people like Dr. Emilio and others out there that are going against the system. But Dr. Emilio, I want you to speak also that parents are also involved in selling their children, that young little boys are also involved in participating in such issues, that it's not just girls, it's not just women, that men are also being trafficked. Human life is being degenerated by the dozens. For us not to speak about such an issue behooves us as humans.
Exactly, and that's the saddest thing. Sometimes when these girls have been rescued, they cannot even be taken back to their parents, because it was their parents who sold them in the first place. And you don't think they sold them for $10,000 or $20,000. Some of them sold them for as little as a VCR worth $200. That is beneath contempt. We cannot stand idle and do nothing. We need to take some action, because it's part of us. See, in this planet Earth, we are an extension of one another. We are all like a cell in a big body. We cannot allow a sister of ours to be forced, to be brutalized, to be raped and beaten and deprived from her right of freedom. When we have the means, we have the funds, we have the technology, we have the weapons, we have anything at our disposal to make a difference. And I think We know what that is happening. We know where it is, and it's our obligation to take action. If nothing else, write letters to our congressman. I mean, somebody like Congressman VC has 2 or 3 offices. We can go in and knock at the door and we say, you know what? We don't appreciate what is taking place in other parts of the world. Well, that's not our problem. Yes, it's our problem because some of the Americans travel to those parts of the world. They become engaged in this type of illicit activity, and then they come back to the United States. We don't want to be around these people at all. We want them to have very powerful laws against them, so when they come back, they're going to be prosecuted and they will remain incarcerated for a very long period of time. Although they didn't commit a crime here, the crime is against human beings, and then itself should be punished by somebody in the United States, by a competent court. Todos los problemas que ha habido es cuando muchos pensamos que la esclavitud de niñas nada más está limitada a ser violadas, a ser golpeadas, pero no han hecho una brutalidad de experimentos con ellas. A veces las ponen y les aprietan su cabecita a ver qué va a explotar primero, sus ojitos o su quijada. Las violan repetidamente, hasta 40 veces son penetradas, viven en un cuartito, no tienen ni siquiera agua potable, no se bañan. Imagínense que les duele un diente, su muela, sin haber hecho nada, que no haya ningún dentista que las atienda, que tengan catarro, que les duela su estómago, que estén embarazadas. Todo eso, y son sus vidas, y después de eso algunas sobreviven, algunas de ellas no sobreviven. Y lo peor de todo es que los clientes más prominentes son personas de Estados Unidos, de Australia, de Inglaterra, que son las personas que mucha gente los ve como personas muy respetables. Son las personas que tienen el poder adquisitivo para ir de aquí a allá y ya hacen sus porquerías. El problema no nada más es rescatarlas no es difícil porque muchas de esas personas no son nadie, son insignificantes, pero el problema es que la policía y el ejército están envueltos. Entonces llevarlos de punto A a punto B es donde está el más alto riesgo. Y también lo que es tristísimo es que muchas de estas personas han sido vendidas por sus propios padres. Y uno dice, bueno, los padres tenían necesidades, eso no los justifica, pero no era una necesidad, era más que nada un gusto. Muchas de ellas fueron vendidas por $200, el equivalente a una videocasetera. Así es absurdo. No puede comprender cómo haya tanta basura o qué tanto o qué tan bajo caiga la gente para permitir o para participar en estas cosas. Una vez una persona que se llama Edmund Burke dijo, para que triunfe el mal, lo único que tiene que hacer el bien es hacer nada. Si el bien no hace nada, el mal va a triunfar. Nosotros tenemos la habilidad de participar, escribir letras a los congresistas, a nuestros representantes locales, que este problema está pasando y que nosotros no queremos permitir. No mandarle a $1 a un país que sabemos que lo permite. Y todos sabemos porque la CIA es súper inteligente, la CIA tiene todo tipo de información de cuáles países lo hacen, cómo lo hacen. Bancos prominentes en Estados Unidos lavan el dinero de estas personas y lo saben. Entran depósitos en efectivo de un establecimiento insignificante, entran de repente $10,000, $15,000. ¿Cómo es posible? Todo nada más por lógica, sabe que esas personas están lavando dinero y es permitido. Entonces, ¿por qué no hacer algo para que nuestra sociedad siga evolucionando? Porque mientras nosotros lo permitimos como sociedad vamos a involucionar. Y las condiciones de estas personas, de estos pedofiliacos, es progresiva. Quizás al principio quieran tener nada más sexo. Primero empezó con pornografía, después se manifestó en un acto sexual, pero al rato las van a querer golpear. Al rato van a querer que tengan sexo con 2 o 3. Al rato van a querer que tengan sexo con animales. Y al rato, para estimulación sexual, van a matarlas. Eso es lo más triste de todo, que nosotros no hemos hecho nada y que tenemos la habilidad. I forgot to mention one thing that is very important. Sometimes prominent banks actually participate in money laundering. There are sections where they actually can identify suspicious activity, things that deviate from normal practices. They have the ability to investigate. This is incongruent with the nature of the business. Let's take action, let's shut down the account. But they are not doing it. I mean, it's obvious. So there are so many avenues by which we can yield solutions.
Okay, so right now in our current election, we are looking at one of the highest rated elections that we've seen, one of the most controversial that we've seen. You have a female running for office on the Democratic side, and then you have a male running for office on the Republican side. Things that have happened throughout the years, or the year rather, of campaigning has brought about a lot of confusion. A lot of voters are questioning which side to vote. They don't really understand the issues. It's still crucial that no matter if you understand the issues or not, that you get involved in one way or another in the process. Whether you vote or you do not vote, you've got to get involved with the process. That means that you educate yourself, you talk out with other people, you get to know the issues head on, you do your research, you communicate with both sides, both parties, and find out what their solutions are going to be. You find out the best way that you can, not looking at mainstream media, but going behind the scenes as well and find out exactly how you want to vote. It's very important and crucial that people get involved in politics way before election season. We can't continue to wait till election season comes to start thinking about how serious the issues are. We've got to get involved way before it's time to actually go and push the ballot. So one thing that I would encourage people is to truly consider not the people, but the actual platform, the actual party, the actual programs, the actual solutions. Look at really what's happening. Research for yourself and don't rely on just the mainstream media.
Esta es una de las elecciones más controversiales en la que tenemos a una mujer representando al Partido Demócrata y a un hombre representando al Partido Republicano. La doctora May está pidiendo que todas las personas hagan sus propias investigaciones, que no dependan tanto en las noticias, en lo que le están diciendo la gente, sino ustedes busquen qué es lo que más va a beneficiarlos a ustedes, lo que más va a beneficiar al país, una plataforma de lo que ellos están ofreciendo. No es tanto porque es una persona que a ustedes les caiga bien, sino una persona que les va a proveer lo que ustedes van a necesitar. Pero ustedes hagan su misma investigación, ustedes tienen que participar en el proceso de la elección. Tienen que estar con otras personas, tienen que hablar, tienen que discutir y ver cuáles son los mejores candidatos para que al final ustedes con su participación y en el proceso vayan a elegir a la persona que más beneficia al país.
So when we ask the questions on who would be a great elected official for office, who would be a great candidate to represent us for office, you have to get involved with that person way before they get into office. One reason that I am looking to gain a vote for elected office is because I'm looking to gain a relationship with the people that are electing me. Not to have a relationship with just the government, but have a relationship with the people. The people need someone who is willing to build a relationship with them, whether they make it into office or not. We have to have relationships whether we are in front or if we are behind the scenes. So one thing that I'm looking for more than I'm looking for your vote is your relationship. If I don't know you and I don't know what the issues are, I don't know how I can get involved in the solutions. And likewise, if you don't know me and you don't know what the issues are, you don't have a solution for me because we don't even know each other's name. One thing that is crucial when you think about politics and politicians, most people are anti-politician because they feel like politicians gain their vote, go off into office, and forget about the people and all the issues that the people have granted unto them. They gain their vote and do nothing for them. Let's not allow that to happen because we built a relationship together. We don't spend time complaining, but we spend time building platforms and programs that are going to work. Other people around me have platforms that will work. How do we know they will work? Because they've already been working them. So we've got to find people that are going to be able to not only build a relationship with me, and that's why I want you to elect me. I want you to elect me because you're electing yourself and that you have somebody who's going to represent you for the program that you already have in play. And any new ideas or formulations that you have, that when you send them to the office, that they not only get a response in a letter as they do now in Congress and other areas. When you do send in a letter, they just say that they've gotten the letter. No, someone who is actually going to consider the letter and give you resources and tools to implement the information and put in the letter received by the office. A lot of politicians have way more power than they exercise, and they have way more tools and opportunities than they exercise. So you're dealing with someone who's actually going to exercise the office to not only the benefit of the government, but the benefit of all. We can't make everybody happy. I'm not going to pretend like we are going to make everyone happy, but what we can do is see tangible results. In the moment that people are not happy about who they elected, I encourage them to not vote for that person again, or to ask for them to leave that office and submit in their resignation. If you don't appreciate something that's going on, or you don't see that I'm working hard for you around the clock, ask for my resignation. And that's when you see the true character of that politician.
Muchos políticos hacen muchas promesas y que nunca las cumplen. Lo más importante, lo que hace que la doctora Maya sea diferente de todos los políticos, es que ella va a establecer una relación con ustedes. Ustedes tienen que establecer una relación con ella. Si ella no habla con ustedes y no sabe qué es lo que necesitan, qué problemas se están manifestando, qué problemas están deteniendo la evolución del Estado, entonces ella no va a poder ayudarlos. Pero si ustedes participan con ideas, ella buscando gente de diferentes talentos, de diferentes razas, de diferentes, con diferentes ideologías, entonces van a poder de alguna manera participar juntos, buscar soluciones. Pero es muy importante que ustedes hablen con ella, que establezcan relaciones. Y ella va, por ejemplo, no solo si ustedes les mandan una carta, ella no les va a contestar, recibir la carta, sino que ella les va a dar herramientas para que ustedes de alguna manera puedan utilizar esas herramientas para el beneficio de la comunidad, para el beneficio del Estado, para el beneficio de todos. Muchos políticos tienen mucho poder, tienen muchas herramientas, pero no las están utilizando, las dejan en un estado de inactividad. Ella lo va a hacer para que ustedes de alguna manera puedan lograr sus metas, les va a dar todo lo que necesiten, pero si no empieza la comunicación con ustedes y ella no sabe qué necesita, entonces el trabajo no va a poder ser desarrollado. Necesitamos comunicación y comunicación continua. Después de que llegue a la oficina de gobernadora, ella va a continuar su comunicación para que la puedan reelegir. Y si ustedes no están contentos con ella, ustedes pueden demandar que ella deje la gobernatura. Decir, no queremos, deja la gobernatura. Es un derecho que ustedes tienen porque no está desarrollando sus funciones como les prometió.
The slogan for our campaign is Lead by Example. There are opportunities for leadership. The climate of America is changing, the climate of our cities are changing, the climate of our states are changing, and the climate of our own mentalities and consciousness is changing. Leadership is changing. Not just the person or the people, but the actual opportunities and the actual season is changing in reference to who are our next official leaders, who's going to take our country or our states or our counties to the next level. So when we talk about leading by example, the first thing that we can do to lead by example is to put our feet on the ground. We need more boots on the ground politicians, not someone who sits inside of an office, but people who actually come outside of the office, outside of the school, outside of the church, outside of the community, and goes out and gets the things that need to be handed back to the people. Sometimes it's going to take someone to be more, I would say, sacrificial. And sometimes it's going to take people to be behind the scenes more and create and formulate operative plans that are going to work. One thing that we want to do is tackle it from both sides. We want to be out in the forefront, and then we want to be behind the scenes creating those solutions that actually work. In order to do that, everyone's going to have to be involved. everyone is going to have to lead by example. So the campaign is not just for someone like myself to run for governor, get elected, and sit in a chair. The campaign by Lead by Example is going to be a message to everyone that they have the opportunity to lead by the example that they want before them. So an example is just a preview of more to come. So we want to give a preview and a screenshot of more to come, and then we want to develop and go from there. So this is about us being more diverse, being more well-rounded, and being more self-educated and self-aware as we join forces with other people who are doing the same thing.
El eslogan que vamos a utilizar se llama Lead by Example, quiere decir liderar en base a ejemplo. Nosotros no vamos a estar sentados en una oficina, nosotros vamos a demostrar cómo poderlos guiar a sus metas. Nosotros vamos a estar activos en la comunidad, vamos a necesitar que ustedes estén activos con nosotros, porque de alguna manera vamos a poder entender cómo está cambiando el clima, cómo están cambiando los trabajos, cómo está cambiando la tecnología. Todo tipo de cambios nosotros tenemos que entender para que nosotros nos adaptamos. Y de la forma que nos vamos a adaptar y vamos a poder de alguna manera liderar a todas las personas como gobernadora, la doctora May, entonces ella va a salir, va a comunicarse con las personas, no va a estar solo en su oficina sentada como muchos políticos. Ella va a estar envuelta en comunidades, va a hablar con la gente y va a mantener esta disposición durante toda su gobernatura, durante otra campaña de reelección, lo que sea necesario, pero ella siempre los va a guiar en base al ejemplo, a sus actividades y cómo ella lo está haciendo.
When we think about a campaign as strenuous as lead by example, or as diversified as coming in with different viewpoints from several different standpoints of other people, other communities, other programs, other coalitions that we connect forces with, we also want to talk about adaptability. When you are able to adapt and also willing to adapt, you are able to create transformation like no other platform. So one thing that we're going to do is not only change forces and change the course of time with the changing of the times, but also show constituents how to also adapt to these changes that are inevitable. When you look at the face of America and the changing population of America, from California all the way to Florida, the people are also changing. We're talking about a higher, they call it a majority minority. So when you're talking about the majority minority and you look at life for what it is today, we've all got to be willing and accessible to adapt to the changes that are already here. But not just me or not just our office, but also the other people out there in office currently and the ones who are going to be coming into office. Who's going to be ready to adapt? And those people who are ready to adapt are going to be the true next leaders and the ones that the people are looking for to lead them into their next chapters as well. The face of America is changing. The face of economics is changing. The face of education is changing. Are you willing to adapt? And those who are going to be the next leaders that are going to set the tone for America as a whole.
Es muy importante tener la habilidad de adaptación. Todos hemos visto cómo cambia todo, desde el clima, desde la educación, desde la tecnología, todo continúa cambiando. Para que nosotros podamos seguir evolucionando, tenemos que entender cómo adaptarnos. La doctora May tiene la habilidad de adaptarse a los cambios. En esa manera, ella va a poder guiarlos de una mejor manera, de una mejor forma, para que todos ustedes logren sus metas. Ella va a lograr su meta como gobernadora. Texas va a lograr su meta como estado, pero al mismo tiempo ella los va a guiar para que ustedes entiendan la mejor manera de que ustedes se adapten y puedan continuar mejorando sus vidas, sus negocios, cualquier fase de su vida, pero con el elemento de adaptación. Ella como su líder los va a guiar para que todos puedan adaptarse y todos puedan tener un mejor estilo de vida.
I'm sorry, one more thing. The message of adaptability is not just for the adult society. When we show our youth that we are up and up for the challenge of adaptability, they themselves automatically curve to that information and that guidance as well. When you think about America in 2043, let's just say by the year 2040, America will be a majority of what America calls a minority. the color of America will change. The people of America will change. If we don't help and also secure our borders, immigration is going to change the face of America. So you're talking about 3 decades away that America will not be the status quo that we see today. It will change drastically and dramatically. Technology has changed our society in so many different ways, also connected us and made this world much smaller. So adaptability is not just for the adults in society, but also our youth. In order for us to lead by example and show our youth how to lead by example, we have to be willing to adapt to the changes that are inevitable. Right now, currently, minority students are the majority of the entire United States of America. Right now. That's not coming. That's already as it is, from 5 years old all the way to basically we're talking about middle school students. Most of those students around the United States of America are no longer just Caucasian. So we're talking about being able to not only adapt in our leadership, but just adapt in our social life and social structures. The youth right now, by the year 2019 to the year 2020, are going to be the next leaders of our country. How are we adapting to change for us so that way we can be prepared to guide them and to change for themselves?
La situación de adaptabilidad no solo nos va a beneficiar a los adultos, sino a la juventud. Como estamos viendo, lo que antes consideraban minorías, ahora van a ser la mayoría. Ya lo estamos viendo en las escuelas, las minorías ya se volvieron la mayoría. Entonces tenemos que entender cómo adaptarnos de la tecnología, de cualquier cambio que nosotros enfrentemos, tenemos que tener la habilidad. La doctora Omay va a poderlos guiar a que se adapten, porque si no se adaptan no va a poder de alguna manera continuar viviendo. También por eso es muy importante controlar las fronteras, porque si vamos a tener tanto cambio en nuestra población de lo que era minoría, mayoría, imagínense si con todo y eso de repente no podemos controlar la gente que entra, va a ser un problema completamente fuera de nuestro alcance. Entonces ella va a saber lo que tiene que hacer para poder controlar todo para el beneficio de los Estados Unidos, del estado de Texas, y al mismo tiempo como su líder los va a enseñar a que se puedan adaptar.